The afternoon sun beat down on Sydney relentlessly. The streets around Central Station were a mess of car horns, hurried commuters, and rideshare drivers fighting for space. Amid the chaos, a girl in a navy blue school uniform walked along the pavement near the Eddy Avenue bus interchange. Her name was Chloe. A Year 12 student from a selective high school in the eastern suburbs, Chloe was heading home from HSC tutoring. She held a tote bag full of textbooks, and a small digital camera was slung over her shoulder, the camera she used for her school media project. She was in the media club, and, as it happened, was working on a piece about authority figures in public spaces. Her aim was simple: to capture interactions between the public and police or transit officers. But she had no idea that today's project would turn into a massive story, one that would change several lives. The footpath near the station was packed. Big issue sellers hawked their magazines, office workers rushed for their trains, and delivery riders waited for pickups. Chloe stood under a large Moreton Bay fig tree, trying to switch on her camera discreetly. Across the street, a uniformed police officer stood near a small police post. He had a hard face, a set-off jaw, and aviator sunglasses hiding his eyes. The name on his chest, Sen. Const. Mick O'Brien. People nearby seemed to give him a wide berth. O'Brien had a reputation in the area. He was known for moving on the homeless and hassling kids, but sometimes his tone was way over the line. Chloe watched from a distance. She hit the video mode, staring at the small screen, thinking, "If I can just get a real interaction, my piece will be so strong. But I've got to be careful, can't get sprung." The unexpected moment came at about 1:20 p.m. An elderly woman, pushing a wonky shopping trolley piled high with plastic bags, was trying to navigate the footpath. A wheel caught on a broken paver, and some of her belongings tumbled out. O'Brien, standing nearby, immediately barked, "Oi, love. Been told already, you can't block the path. This is for pedestrians." His voice was harsh. The woman, flustered, stammered, "Oh, sorry, officer. Just trying to get across. It's so hot." Excuses. It's the same story every day. Get moving, or I'll run you in. Chloe started recording. Her hands were shaking, but she kept the focus. She knew this was important, a small snapshot of power being abused. But then, suddenly, O'Brien turned. His eyes, hidden by the sunglasses, locked right onto her. "Hey, you. What do you think you're doing?" he yelled. Chloe froze but tried to stay calm. "I'm just walking past, officer." "Walking past, my ass. Why's that camera on?" Chloe lowered the camera. "It's for a school project, sir." "School project? Filming police? What do you think this is, a current affair?" The area went quiet. A few people stopped to watch. Chloe tried to explain, but O'Brien had already lost his patience. He strode over, grabbed the strap of Chloe's camera bag, and in a shocking move, kicked the bag, connecting hard with Chloe's shin and sending her sprawling onto the pavement. Shock, then panic. Everyone who saw it froze. An older man sitting at a nearby cafe window called out, "Hey, mate, ease up. She's just a school kid." But O'Brien wheeled on him. "Mind your own business, or you're next." Chloe scrambled to get up, her face pale. But amid the pain, she saw her digital camera, which had fallen to the edge of the footpath, was still on. The little red light in the corner was blinking. She realized it recorded everything. A resolve hardened in her. If this gets out, people like him can't just do whatever they want. But she didn't fight back. She knew it would be dangerous. She just picked up her camera, gave O'Brien a flat look, and walked away, holding back tears. The beginning of a big decision. That afternoon, Chloe arrived at her family's rental flat in Marrickville. Her mum, Sharon, saw her limping. "You're limping, love. What happened?" Chloe hesitated, then showed her the video. "Look, Mum. This cop. He kicked me." Sharon watched the screen, her face growing dark with anger. "Oh my God. That's bloody awful. What did you do?" "Nothing, Mum. I was just filming him yelling at an old lady, and he kicked me." Sharon hugged her daughter. Her own eyes welled up. "This world is getting crazier, love. But you have to be so careful. You don't mess with the police." Chloe nodded, but in her head, the decision was made. She opened her laptop, copied the file from her camera, and started writing a short report. She didn't know how to formally report it, but she knew one thing: this video couldn't disappear. The next day at school. The next day, the atmosphere in the school's media room was relaxed. Chloe arrived, still looking pale. Her friend, Sarah, noticed immediately. "You okay, Chloe? You're still limping a bit." Chloe sighed, then said quietly, "A cop kicked me yesterday." "What? Are you serious?" Chloe opened her laptop and played the video for her friends. Everyone went silent. O'Brien's voice was clear, harsh, and angry, ending with the sharp sound of the bag being kicked. Sarah covered her mouth. "Oh, wow. That's undeniable. You have to report this, Chloe." "I'm scared," Chloe replied. "What if I report it and I get in trouble?" Their media teacher, Mr. Davidson, happened to walk in. Seeing the serious looks on his students' faces, he came over. "What's going on here?" Chloe hesitantly showed him the video. After watching it, Mr. Davidson was silent for a few seconds. "This is serious, Chloe. But it's also important. You have very strong evidence." "What should I do, sir?" "If you're ready, I'll help you report it. There's the Law Enforcement Conduct Commission, LECC. But you need to be prepared, because they'll definitely investigate you, too." Chloe stared at the laptop screen, at the video of herself falling. She nodded slowly. "I'm ready, sir. I don't want this to happen to anyone else." The first step, the LECC office. 2 days later, Chloe went to the LECC offices in the city, accompanied by Mr. Davidson and her mum. There, she handed over the video as evidence for her complaint. The officer taking the report looked surprised to see a complainant still in her school uniform. "You were assaulted by an officer?" "Yes. And this is the proof." They watched the video on an office computer. The room was silent, filled only by the recorded sounds from the street. After it finished, the officer looked at Chloe seriously. "Thank you for having the courage to report this. This is very important evidence. We will follow up." Chloe nodded, but deep down, she wasn't convinced the report would go anywhere. You always hear stories about complaints against police just disappearing. However, a week later, the unexpected happened. The social media wave. Somehow, a clip from the video started circulating on social media. Maybe someone from school, maybe someone at the LECC leaked it. No one knew for sure. But overnight, the video of a cop kicking a schoolgirl went viral across Australia. The hashtag #SydneyCopKickStudent was trending on X, formerly Twitter, and TikTok. Thousands of comments flooded in. "Disgraceful. A cop like this is still on the beat. Full respect to that student. So brave to report it. I hope that girl is safe. Hope she doesn't get intimidated." Chloe started to panic. Her phone was blowing up with notifications. Journalists started DMing her, asking for the story. "Chloe, are you safe?" Sarah texted. "I don't know. I'm scared that cop will come find me." Mr. Davidson tried to calm her down. "Stay calm, Chloe. You need to be careful now. Don't go out alone. But remember, you've done the right thing." Chloe stared at her phone, at the comments of support. She felt a mix of fear and relief. "Maybe this is how things have to get fixed," she muttered. The police response. The response from NSW police didn't take long. They held a press conference. A spokesperson spoke carefully to the assembled media. "We are aware of the video circulating and deeply regret the unprofessional conduct of one of our officers, seen engaging in an act of violence against a student. The officer in question is currently under investigation by the LECC and has been stood down from active duty." Senior Constable O'Brien's name was suddenly infamous. Reporters camped outside his house, but he refused to comment. Word was he'd been moved to restricted duties, a desk job, pending an ethics hearing. Public pressure was immense. Follow-up videos emerged, showing other locals testifying that O'Brien was often aggressive in the area. Meanwhile, Chloe stayed silent in the media. She chose not to appear publicly, posting only one message on her private social media: "I just want everyone to be treated fairly, no matter what uniform they wear." The summons. 3 weeks had passed since the video went viral. Chloe's life had changed completely. She couldn't just go to school normally. There were reporters at the gate. Neighbors whispered when she walked past. Some were supportive, but a few were cynical. "Oh, that's the kid who got the cop fired. Yeah, famous now. Better watch out, the cops will have it in for her now." Chloe pretended not to hear, but the words stung. One afternoon, an officer from the Professional Standards Command came to her flat. He was polite, showing his ID. "Good afternoon. We are from the command. I'm here to deliver a summons for Ms. Chloe to appear as a witness in the internal tribunal hearing for Senior Constable Mick O'Brien." Chloe stared at the letter. It wasn't a surprise, but her heart still pounded. She looked at her mum, who nodded. "You go, love. Don't be scared. You're just telling the truth." Chloe nodded. But that night, she couldn't sleep, imagining seeing the man who had kicked her again. The tribunal. The day of the hearing arrived. It was held in an internal hearing room at the Sydney Police Centre in Surrey Hills. The room was plain, but the atmosphere was tense. At the front, 3 senior officers sat as the tribunal panel. Chloe arrived with Mr. Davidson and her mum. She wore her full school uniform. Media weren't allowed inside, but a few reporters waited outside. On the other side of the room, Mick O'Brien sat with a flat expression. He looked older than she remembered. His hair was messy, his eyes tired. He was wearing a plain suit, not a uniform. The panel began. "Ms. Last name, please explain the events you witnessed on August 4th near Central Station." Chloe's voice shook, but it was firm. She told them everything, from the beginning. How she was recording, how O'Brien abused the old woman, and how he finally kicked her. When she finished, it was quiet. One of the panel members asked, "Did you feel the officer's actions were a breach of conduct and police ethics?" "Yes, sir. Because I hadn't done anything wrong, and I wasn't a threat to anyone. I was just doing my media assignment." O'Brien looked down. Then, he spoke. I stuffed up, sir. I was emotional. Under a lot of pressure at work. I didn't know she was recording for a school project. The panel stared at him. But you kicked a child, senior constable. Can that ever be justified by pressure? There was no answer. Only the hum of the air conditioner. The apology. The hearing lasted nearly 2 hours. After all the evidence, the panel adjourned to deliberate. Chloe sat in the waiting area with her mum. After a few minutes, Mick O'Brien slowly approached them. "Kid," he said quietly. Chloe looked up, wary. "I want to say I'm sorry. I was in a dark place. A lot of problems at home. But I shouldn't have taken it out on you." A tear slipped down Chloe's cheek. "I don't hate you. I was just so disappointed. You're supposed to protect people, not hurt them." O'Brien looked down for a long time. "I know. I got it completely wrong." Sharon, sitting next to Chloe, spoke up. "We forgive you. But I just hope this never, ever happens to another kid." The man nodded, his own eyes red. "Thank you." The decision. After an hour, the panel returned. Everyone stood. The head of the panel read the decision in a firm voice. After reviewing all witness testimony and the video evidence, the tribunal finds that Senior Constable Mick O'Brien has been found to have committed a serious breach of the NSW Police Code of Conduct. The room was silent. Therefore, the officer is to be dismissed from the NSW police force, effective immediately. A few people gasped. O'Brien just bowed his head. He didn't argue, didn't react. He just sat there. The panel chair closed the hearing. The tribunal is adjourned. We thank the witness for her courage. Chloe sat in her chair, numb. She didn't know what to feel, relieved, sad, proud. But the weight on her chest felt a little lighter. After the hearing. Outside, the reporters swarmed. But Chloe refused to give a long comment. She just said, "I hope everyone learns from this. We all have a right to be respected, no matter who we are." That simple sentence went viral, too. But this time, not for the tragedy, but for its quiet strength. A few days later, her school received a commendation from the Department of Education. Her story was used in media studies classes as an example of citizen journalism and social ethics. The other side. 3 months later, Chloe heard from a journalist that Mick O'Brien was now working as a security guard, SECO, at a factory out in Blacktown. One afternoon, without telling her mum, Chloe took the train out there. She wanted to close this chapter properly. When she got to the security gate, the man looked at her in shock. "Chloe?" "Hi, Mick. Sorry to just show up. I just wanted to give you this." She handed him a small bag with some baked goods and a letter. "What's this?" "A thank you note. For owning up to it at the hearing." O'Brien opened the envelope. Inside was a single handwritten page. "Mr. O'Brien, I learned a lot from what happened. I learned that violence doesn't make people respect you, it just hurts them. But having the courage to admit you're wrong, that makes us human again. Chloe." Mick O'Brien's eyes watered. He stood up and shook her hand. "You're a good kid. I'm so sorry I put you through that. I forgave you a long time ago." They parted ways peacefully. And for some reason, the air in Blacktown felt lighter for both of them that day. The broader impact. Chloe's story had a bigger impact than she imagined. A few months later, NSW Police issued a new directive on public interaction training and emotion management for frontline officers. One of the case studies used in the training was the Central Station incident. Chloe was invited to speak at a character and ethics seminar at Sydney Town Hall. She spoke in front of teachers and students from all over the state. "I'm not a hero," she said. "I'm just someone who had proof and a little bit of courage. But if everyone stands up to injustice, no matter how small, this country can be a better place." The hall erupted in applause. Mr. Davidson, sitting in the front row, nodded with pride. After, students crowded around her. But Chloe just smiled. She didn't feel special. She just wanted everyone to know that standing up for what's right isn't a grand gesture, it's just a choice. 8. Epilogue. A year later, Chloe sat on a bench near the same spot at Central Station. The fig tree was still there, but the footpath had been repaired and was clean. She had the same camera, but this time she was taking photos of smiling street performers. A year had passed since the tribunal. Her fame didn't come without a cost. Her life was filled with new experiences, some good, some testing. Chloe was now in her second semester of a communications degree at UTS, University of Technology, Sydney. But the shadow of that day remained. Sometimes, when she saw a police car cruise by, her breath would still catch in her throat. 1. The lingering shadow. That day, Chloe was heading to uni on a bus. At a red light near the police centre, the bus stopped. On the pavement, a group of officers were managing traffic. One of them yelled at a driver who'd overshot the line. His voice was loud, but this time, it was professional, not abusive. Yet for Chloe, the sound echoed in her head. "Hey, you. What are you doing?" The voice from the past. She closed her eyes. The bus driver glanced in the mirror. "You okay back there, love?" "Yeah, no worries. Just a bit of a headache." She took a deep breath. It had been a year, but the fear still popped up. 2. Behind the stage. Chloe was often invited to seminars. She was known as the student who stood up to the cops. But she often felt awkward. At a uni event, the MC introduced her with a long round of applause. "And here's Chloe, the brave student who fought injustice and made real change." Chloe smiled politely, but thought, "I'm not a hero. I was just a person trapped in a situation that got filmed." After, another student approached her. "Chloe, I really admire you. I got hassled by transport officers once, but I was too scared to report it." "It's normal to be scared," Chloe said softly. "But if you have proof and you know it's right, don't stay silent. Find someone who can help. Sometimes the truth just needs a friend to stand with it." The student nodded. Chloe looked at him and realized that even if she didn't feel like a hero, her courage had given others a space to speak. 3. Unexpected news. One afternoon in March, Chloe got a text from an unknown number. "Hi, Chloe. It's Mick O'Brien." Chloe paused. The name still made her heart jump, but not with fear. Just surprise. "Hi, Mick. What's up? Just wanted to say thanks. I kept that letter you gave me. I'm working at a youth centre out in Penrith now. I learned a lot from what happened." Chloe read the message several times. She felt a profound sense of relief. Sometimes, forgiveness isn't about forgetting, it's about letting someone change. "Thanks, Mick. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. If you're ever out this way, come by. The kids here would love to hear a story about courage." Chloe smiled. Funny how life works. The person who'd knocked her down was now asking her to help lift others up. 4. The visit. A few weeks later, Chloe went. The youth centre was a simple, painted building in a quiet street. Kids were running around, laughing, calling Mick coach. When he saw Chloe, he smiled. He looked calmer, healthier. Thanks for coming. The kids want to hear your story. What story? About how you were brave. But maybe don't make them scared of cops, eh? Chloe laughed. Don't worry. I'll stick to the good bits. She sat with the kids, telling her story gently. Not about the violence, but about honesty. About speaking up when you feel hurt. If you see something wrong, don't just get angry. But don't stay silent. Find a good way to fix it. Because courage isn't just about fighting, it's about forgiving, too. The kids clapped. Mick watched from a distance, his eyes shining. 5. The pressure of the internet. Even as her personal relationship with the past healed, the internet never forgot. Every time a new police scandal emerged, Chloe's name was mentioned. Just like the Chloe case. When will these cops learn? We need more people like Chloe. The comments made her uncomfortable. She didn't want to be a perfect symbol. One night, she posted, "I'm not a symbol of resistance. I'm just a person who was scared and spoke up anyway." If you get a chance to speak up for what's right, do it with your heart, not just with anger. The post was shared thousands of times, but the replies were warmer this time, thanking her for her honesty. 6. From trauma to inspiration. Chloe started writing a small book, The Footpath That Taught Me. It wasn't about the viral incident, but about the journey after, handling trauma, finding calm, and making peace. In one chapter, she wrote, "I used to think justice came from the loudest voice. But I learned that justice is born from the voice that stays calm, even when it's been hurt." The book was published by her uni press and became popular. Mr. Davidson, her old teacher, sent her a text. "You're writing from the heart, Chloe. Your job isn't to fight anymore, it's to guide." 7. Ethics Day. 2 years after the incident, the NSW government hosted an Ethics in Public Service Day. Chloe was invited to give the keynote speech representing young citizens. The town hall was full, politicians, police cadets, students. In the front row, Chloe saw young cadets taking notes. When it was her turn, she stood at the podium. 2 years ago, I was standing on a footpath, terrified. Today, I'm not here to lay blame. I'm here to remind us that we are all human. We all make mistakes. But when power is used without empathy, it doesn't create respect, it creates fear. And a state whose citizens are afraid of its protectors. That's not a healthy state. The room was silent, then burst into applause. Even some of the cadets stood. 8. Back home. One weekend, Chloe took her mum on a trip to Orange, where her grandparents lived. They sat on the veranda, watching the sunset. "Mum, I just realized. Everything that happened, it made me stronger." "That's right, love. Life tests us to make us strong, not to break us. But I'm still scared, Mum. What if I'm only ever remembered as the girl who got kicked?" Her mum smiled. "People might remember the incident. But what matters is how you responded. You showed them how to fight the right way. That's what they'll learn from." Chloe looked at her mum, and a final tear of relief fell. 9. A letter. A few months after the town hall speech, Chloe received a letter. It was handwritten on NSW police letterhead. "Dear MS. Last name, I'm a new probationary constable. I heard your story during my ethics training at the academy. At first, I was ashamed, thinking the public just loves to hate us. But after hearing your story, I realized the public needs protecting, not to be feared. Thank you for making us learn. I promise I'll be a cop who protects people, not one who hurts them." Respectfully, Prob. Const. Michael. Chloe smiled and pinned the letter to her wall.